Equations with rational numbers. We have 7/10 n plus 3/2 equals 3/5 n plus 2. The first thing is to come up with a common denominator, or the least common denominator. Our denominators are 10, 2, and 5. One strategy is to take and put the denominators into a ladder and pull out a number that can go into at least two of the numbers. So let's say we go in by the number 2. 2 can go into 10 5 times. 2 can go into 2 once. 2 cannot go into 5, so we bring it down. We can go again by 5. 5 can go into 5 once. 5 can't go into 1, so we bring it down. And 5 can go into 5 once. We multiply everything on the outside of the ladder. 2 times 5 is 10, 10 times 1 is 10, 10 times 1 is 10, 10 times 1 is 10. So the least common denominator is 10. That's one way of doing it. Another way of finding the least common denominator is using your calculator and hitting math, going over to number, going down to number 8, which is LCM, least common multiple. Now, if you're just finding the least common multiple of two numbers, you would put them in here separated by a comma. But since we're finding the least common multiple of three numbers, we're going to do it twice. So we're going to go down to math, number, go to LCM, and hit enter again. Okay, so we have the number 10. We have the number 2. And we have the number 5. And then you hit enter. Okay, so that's another way of finding the LCM. Once you find the least common multiple or the least common denominator, you're going to multiply that number by both sides of the equation. So what we're going to do is something called the distributive property, where you multiply everything inside of here. So when you do it first, it looks like this: 10 times 7/10 n plus 3/2 equals 10 times 3/5 n plus 2. Okay, so you're going to multiply 10 times everything inside the parentheses. So 10 times 7/10 n plus 10 times 3/2 equals 10 times 3/5 n plus 10 times 2. Alright, so here we have the tenths can simplify out. And we get 7n. Here, the 2 can divide out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, then here we have 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6, so we have 6n. And 10 times 2 is 20. Okay, the first thing is to isolate the variable. So we want the n's to one side and the constants to the other side. I'm going to get rid of 6n from both sides. This cancels out. 7n minus 6n is n. Then I'm going to get the constants to one side. The way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. 20 minus 15 is 5. So n equals 5. Alright, let's take a look at number 3. You might need more sheets of paper to be able to fit this all in here. We have 1/7 k minus 6 equals 3/7 k plus 4. The only denominator that I see is a 7. So what we are going to do is we are going to multiply both sides by 7. So we have 7 times 1/7 k minus 6 equals 7 times 3/7 k plus 4. Alright, so when we do that, 7 times 1/7 k minus 7 times 6 equals 7 times 3/7 k plus 7 times 4. Alright, here the 7's cancel out. You're left with 1k, or just k. Here it's 7 times 6, which is 42, so k minus 42. Here the 7's cancel out, so you're left with 3k. And then 7 times 4 is 28. We want to get the variables to one side and we want to get the constants to the other side. So we are going to get rid of the k. So we're going to minus k on both sides. 3k minus k is 2k. Then we are going to get rid of the 28. So we are going to minus 28 to both sides. When we do this, we have 2k equals negative 70. The 2 and the k are multiplying. The opposite of multiplication is division. Divide by both sides by 2. You get negative 35. Alright, let's take a look at number 4. On number 4, your denominators are 6, 2, and 4. So you can put 6, 2, and 4 in a ladder. You can go by 2. 2 can go into 6 3 times, 2 can go into 2 once, 2 can go into 4 twice. You can't go any farther, so 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12. If you don't like that, you can also use your calculator, and you can go to math, number, then go to 8 to LCM. Remember, we're doing it with 3 numbers, so we're going to go back to math, number, LCM, and then we're going to type in 6, comma, 2, parentheses, comma, 4, and we should get 12. Okay, so we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 12. So 12 times 5, 6y plus 1 equals 12 times negative 1/2 y plus 1/4. Alright, so we're going to say 12 times 5, 6y plus 12 times 1 equals 12 times negative 1/2 y plus 12 times 1/4. Alright, here the 6 can cancel out with 1 and 2. 2 times 5 is 10, y. 12 times 1 is 12. The 2 and the 12 can cancel out by 1 and 6. You get negative 6y. The 4 and the 12 can cancel out to 3. Alright, so we have 10y plus 12 equals negative 6y plus 3. We want to get all the variables to one side and all the constants to one side. So we're going to add 6y to both sides. We're going to get 16y equals 12. I'm sorry, plus 12. Try that one more time. 16y plus 12 equals 3. Alright, now I got to get all the constants to one side, so I'm going to minus 12. 3 minus 12 is going to get me negative 9. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 16. So that's going to be y equals negative 9/16. And 9/16 can't simplify. If you want, you can also turn that into a decimal. Okay, let's go to example 2. Javier walks from his house to the zoo at a constant rate. After walking 7/500ths of a mile, he meets his brother Raul, and they continue walking at the same constant rate. When they arrive at the zoo, Javier has walked for half an hour, and Raul has worked for 2/10 an hour. What is the rate in miles per hour which the brothers walk to the zoo? Okay, so we have the distance to the zoo for both brothers is represented by 0.2r plus 7/500ths. Okay, and then we have 0.5r. We want to get the variables to one side and the constants to one side. So we're going to minus 0.2r to both sides, or 2/10 r. So 5/10 minus 2/10 is going to get me 3/10 r. Alright, then we are going to divide both sides by 3/10. So when I do that, that cancels out. So 7/500ths divided by 3/10. It's going to go in here 2 times. It's going to go in here 5 times. So we have 2.5 or 2 5/10 miles per hour. Alright, flip it to the back side. It says Logan has 2 aquariums. One aquarium contains 1.3 cubic feet of water and the other contains 1.9 cubic feet of water. The water in the larger aquarium weighs 37 4/400 pounds more than the water in the smaller aquarium. Write an equation with variable on both sides to represent the situation. Then find the weight of 1 cubic foot of water. Okay, so the large aquarium is going to represent 1 9/10 x. And then we have the small aquarium is 1.3 or 1 3/10 x plus an additional 37 4/400 because you want them to be equal. This one has 37 4/400 more than the smaller. So if you take this and this, it equals the large aquarium. Alright, we are going to subtract. We're going to subtract our constants. So we are going to minus 1.3x from both sides. This is going to cancel out. And then we are going to divide both sides by 6/10. So we have 37 4/400. Gonna go over 1 time. Can go into there 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. It's gonna go in there 2 times. 6 times 2 is 12. And it's going to go in there 4 times. So we have 62 4/10. Alright, and that's pounds. Alright, the last one. So it wants us to write a real world problem that can be modeled by the situation. 1/3 x plus 10 equals 3/5 x. So it says we can have a barrel of feed at the store is 1/3 full. Okay, and after 10 additional pounds,